my lovelies, good afternoon, good morning. It's nice and bright right here in New York. You are in my kitchen, in the Queen's Curry kitchen, and today I am going to make dinner for my family right here. By the time you're done watching this video, we will be making two dishes which are vegetarian, and they are going to be for my family's dinner tonight. So the first dish that we're going to make is everybody's favorite, cauliflower with potatoes. I'm making this. And then the other dish that I'm going to make is something called pakora curry. Not curry, but curry. So these are pakoras, which are onion and potato fritters that I've fried the day before. And now I'm just going to make a gravy or a sauce, and I'm going to put this right in there, and it's going to be simmering. Right now they are a little bit hard and tough because they've been in the fridge, but once they simmer with the sauce, they're going to be nice and spongy, and I will teach you everything that you need to know, right from how to make the sauce and how to really get these going. So I've decided to use electrical appliances. Whatever I'm doing here, you can absolutely do on the stovetop, no problems at all. The first step is I'm going to start with the cauliflower and potato because it goes very fast when we're searing stuff. And then after that, we'll move on to the next curry dish, which is going to be the fritters with the curry sauce, okay? So just going to position this nicely so that the skillet is evenly heated. The first thing that goes in is going to be our cumin seeds. You know me and my love for cumin seeds. There you go. So when you add things like cumin and ginger to things like cauliflower, which are known to cause gas or make people uncomfortable, anything cruciferous, it becomes easy to digest it, and it becomes easy for the body to break down, okay? So I hope the glare is not bothering anybody. Just saute the ginger and the cumin for a few seconds. It'll be bouncing around, don't worry about it. These are about 5 small potatoes and 1 head of cauliflower. All of it goes in. Some people like to fry the vegetables first, take them out, and then add them back. I don't like to fry my vegetables too much because I feel like overcooking really takes away a lot of the nutrients from it. Okay. So you can make the pieces as big as this. Whoops. As big as this or as small as that, depending on how you like it. Some people like their cauliflower to have a little bit of a bite to it, and some people like it extremely mushy, so it really depends on what your family likes. Just remember, when you cut the potatoes, you have to cut them to the size that the cauliflower and the potato should cook at the same time and be tender at the same time, alright? So just going to say a quick hello to all the people that are tuning in. Hello, hello, and welcome. Now that it's sauteed a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add my dry spices to it. In goes the Himalayan pink salt. You can use any salt of your choice. Some paprika powder, turmeric, always some black pepper wherever you're adding turmeric to help with the absorption. This is coriander seed powder and a little bit of garam masala. Now because all these spices have gone over hot oil, I'm just going to go ahead and add just a dash of water so that my spices do not burn. It'll give enough time for the spices to bloom from the heat of it's already boiling water. So the water was hot, the pan is hot. This helps the spices to bloom, and it also helps to draw out the maximum color from the paprika. Okay, now this is going to do its thing. In the meantime, what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add roughly chopped 1.5 roughly chopped tomatoes. And I'm going to add just a little bit of tomato puree, because in America this is the time of the year when tomatoes really don't have too much of a taste. So in America, summers is the time when you get the best tomatoes. So just give it a gentle stir. This is on stir fry mode, so if you were doing this on the stovetop, you'd probably put it on high at this time. For any of the spices that you see in the spice box that I've used, you can order it from my website. You're going to get paprika, you're going to get turmeric, you're going to get coriander seed powder, homemade garam masala, cumin seeds. I don't put salt in the package that I ship to you because everybody has salt in their house. Instead, you will get fenugreek leaves, which is a dry herb, And I also put my Indian style curry powder. So all the spices and the box comes fully packed with a gift packaging and a personalized note. It comes to your door. So if you want to get it for yourself, you're trying to give it to someone you love, definitely consider that. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you can totally skip this step. Bottom. I'm also going to put a cover on it, and usually if your tomatoes are very watery and moist, it's going to help. Okay, so in this there's not that much of a temperature regulation. We're going to put a cover on this. The next thing we're going to jump to is the curry sauce that we're going to make for the fritters. So in here I have ginger, I have garlic. People say, oh, you know, Indian food is too time consuming. How are we going to make this? Blah, blah, blah. Do not listen to any of that. Add just a little bit of water to the bottom to get your blades going. And then add these tomatoes right there. Okay. You don't have to cut them finely. You don't have to do any of those things. Just put it in here and put the lid on. You can add a little bit of cilantro for flavor. I'm just going to blitz this and I'll be right back. I'm just pulsing this thing as it goes. And there, it's done. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is going to be the base of what we're creating. If you want, you can add some tomato puree to give it a little more color. As you can see, this is pretty bland in color, but trust me, by the time you put the turmeric and the tomatoes, it's going to look really, really good. Okay, so now into this curry again, I'm going to start with some cumin seeds. You may not be able to see too well. I can actually bring you closer. Let me see if we can try that so you can get a good look at what's going on. Okay. Let's take a quick check of what is going on with the cauliflower right now as we speak. It's been going for a few seconds. You definitely do need to check on it periodically just to give it a stir to make sure things are coming along really nicely. You see how the rich color develops? This is because we were able to draw out the beautiful color from the paprika, plus the tomato puree adds a hint of red. Oh, it smells in bloody credible. Between the ginger and the turmeric and the cumin seeds, it smells really good. You can go back with the spatula and mash down all of the tomatoes so that they'll release more of their juices. You can see the vegetables are still raw. When you press them down, they don't break. That means we still do need to cook and steam them for a longer time. So that's going on. It's back to where it was. I've started with this. I'm also going to add some mustard seeds to this. And I'm going to add some asafoetida. Okay, so we're just trying to make a nice base curry over here for the fritters. Mustard seeds look like this. Whenever you work with seeds, whether it's cumin, whether it's mustard, always add them to hot oil and wait for them to splutter. That way you know that they're not going to have a bitter bite to it. If you don't cook these properly, it can make your food bitter. Okay, and then here's asafoetida or hing. You can add it in the beginning of the process. You can add it at the end of the process. If you want a deeper flavor, and you want the flavor to last, then add it at the end. If you want a milder flavor, then add it in the beginning. Just going to give this a stir. All of the mustard seeds are crackling and popping. It smells incredible. The first thing that I'm going to go ahead and add is a little bit of tomato puree. Now just note, I did not use any onions in either one of these dishes, so the cooking is going to be very fast. I'm not sauteing anything. I'm not caramelizing any onions. Usually that's the time of Indian cooking that takes the longest. That's the part that takes the longest time. In goes the puree that we have just made. Right? Just nice and clean. Now this is going to simmer and it's going to become its own sauce. I'm going to just put a little hot water in here. You can literally do this base curry for any kind of pakoras that you have left at home. Just make sure they're sturdy and not very limp. If they're palak pakoras or something that are limp, then they're probably going to break apart. You can also do this curry base with just pasta. You can create the curry, add some raw pasta and raw potatoes, and then cook them in your Instant Pot. You'll get a really nice aromatic curry that way. Okay. Now the thing to get this going is to add all of the spices. The dry spices that I'm going to add is, of course, salt, paprika. Everything is really contained in this masala box. Whatever you need to cook your Indian food, especially the North Indian food, everything is in here. Coriander seed powder, a little bit of turmeric, and some garam masala. You can also add garam masala in the end. You don't have to add it in the beginning. I just like it in the beginning because I don't like it too intense. Okay, so this is going to cook down, and you can see the color is now nice and orangish red. It's going to cook down and not be so watery anymore. We're going to saute this till all of the oil floats to the top. Giving this a quick look and seeing where we are at with this. You can see this is starting to stick to the bottom. Now if this was a stovetop, I would have turned the flame down. But in this we have like preset functions that happen at a certain degree of temperatures. So it's very hard to stop and go. The best way to do this is to keep on adding a little bit of water at a time. Now I'll tell you the difference between how old school people used to cook and how we cook. My mother-in-law, she would add a ton of oil to the vegetables and then she would saute it. And she would say that the oil is the thing that cooks the vegetable. Actually, oil is not the thing that cooks the vegetable. It's the steam that cooks the vegetable. So now it's up to you if you're trying to watch your calories and not put unnecessary oils in your body. Then you can actually add water little by little. Yes, it does require you to be right by your food and monitor it so that it doesn't get burnt or whatever. But it's definitely a healthier way to create the steam and eat the food that's been cooked in that steam. Okay. This is coming along really well. I'm just going to add a little bit of cilantro. If you guys have any questions related to what you're watching or just Indian food in general, drop it in the comments. Definitely turn on your notifications so that whenever I'm live, you can get in there, you can cook with me. It's always a lot of fun to have your company when I'm cooking food for my family. I'm a culinary chef. I'm a culinary instructor and a chef based in New York City. My family owns 5 Indian restaurants in Manhattan. And I teach Indian cooking. I try to demystify the process of Indian cooking by letting people know that it doesn't have to be time consuming or doesn't require a whole bunch of ingredients. Literally, you can see this is ingredients that you find easily in supermarkets. And so if that's the philosophy that you want to live by, welcome to my page. I also have a website where you can purchase whatever you're seeing, including the masala box. There's also a ton of ebooks on the subject of Indian cooking. There's books around the Indian breads. There's books around Indian rice recipes, all the curry secrets. So the recipes that we make in our restaurant that are based on 5 mother sauces, you can get all of that on my website. And most recently, I've just launched a collection of a line of artisanal cookies in Indian flavors, eggless cookies that you can use for gift giving for every occasion, for birthdays, anniversaries, Diwali, Holi, Valentine's Day, whatever. So definitely check out the website. It's queenscurrykitchen.com. Hello, Kyle. How are you today? Yes, so all of the information is on the website, queenscurrykitchen.com. You can head over to that. The link is in the bio. Okay, so this just went off, which means that it's been sauteing for whatever the length of time that it was given. Let me give you a sneak peek into how this is looking. You can see it's bubbling, right? It's bubbling away and the water is getting reduced. So we're gonna cook this down till all of the oil has floated to the top. I'm gonna come in here and give this a quick look and see what's going on. I'm actually getting so much glare that even I'm not able to see whether you're able to see me or not. That's the funny thing. Okay, so we're going to go in with, you see how it tends to stick to the bottom, but thankfully this is a copper non-stick skillet. I bought this for my daughter when she went to the dorms, when she went to college. And then after that it just came back to my house because she's not in the dorm anymore. And I use it. I think it's so much easier to clean this than clean a stovetop that gets messy. Okay, so I'm just gonna run my spatula through the potatoes and show you how to tell if it's ready or not. You can run your spatula right through there and it's not going to break easily. You see that? See this? So now I know that I have to further cook this. You can try it with the cauliflower as well. If you don't have the patience to wait for potatoes to soften up, and if you're trying to cut off potatoes from your diet and not put potatoes in every Indian sabzi that you cook, then you can definitely do the same dish with cauliflower and peas. It goes way faster and it's also healthier because you're not using unnecessary starches. Potatoes are just pure starch, whereas peas have some protein in them. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back and kind of change this to boil. Okay, and we'll get this party started. So again, time to add a little bit more water as we cook them down. We do have to have enough steam at all times so that it doesn't burn and so that it is able to get enough heat trapped in the pan so that it'll be nice and tender. Okay, so don't add all of the water at once. It's always a process that happens a little bit at a time. So it's already simmering. I'm gonna put the lid back on here. Let's do a quick check on this. You can see this thing is like wildly bubbling right now. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's pretty far. Right here. You see how the oil is coming to floating to the top. If you see the edges, you'll see that the moisture is evaporating and the oil droplets are starting to float to the top. So whenever you make any Indian curry, if you see the oil droplets are floating to the top, then okay, so my photographer that's in the comments right now, viewfinder.j, his name's Kyle, he's saying definitely try the chai cookie. Yes, so coming back to the cookies, we have a lot of flavors in the cookie offers that we have. We have a rose and pistachio shortbread. It's called Dilse. Then we have a mango and almond, which is a mango kulfi cookie. Then we have a chai cookie, which of course Kyle is talking about. It has all the delicious flavors of chai and it pairs beautifully with our masala chai, which you can also order on the website. And then we have a cardamom and almond cookie, which is just a very basic, like a bakery style cookie, but we also work with small batches, so it's not like you can order it today and I can have 1,000 pieces delivered to you. It doesn't work like that. So the packaging comes in 6 pieces or 12 pieces and it comes beautifully gift wrapped. You can send it to your loved ones. This is our 6-pack. It comes with gift paper inside. There's a beautiful card in there. This is going to go into another box and then there will be a handwritten note from me to you or whoever you're sending it to, and this is how it goes. So it's called Biscuit, which is the Indian name for cookies. If you are thinking about what to give to someone who loves food, this is your clue. That's what you need to do, okay? All right, so this is coming together beautifully. It's just a labor of love. In the time that I was actually prepping for this, I also made a couple of other things. I had a whole bunch of butternut squash at home, so I kind of made these. These are my stovetop. I just do them with a little bit of oil and some nigella seeds, and that's it. If you use mustard oil, this can really elevate your dish to the next level. I also made a little dessert for this evening. which is boiled milk with vermicelli. It's called doodh sevia, and I added a little cardamom and almonds. It's just really nice to end your meal with a little bit of sweet, and warm milk never hurt anybody. I'm not a fan of milk, but my husband likes it. So yeah. Okay, so both these processes are going on really well. This thing is boiling away. There's a lot of steam being generated. Just keep an eye on it so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Let me bring you in and show you at what part of the process we are. You see that? All the cauliflower is starting to soften up. You can see you can run your spatula through and it breaks, so that's a good sign. Now check for the potatoes. Are they cooked or not? They do need a little bit more time. So time to add a little more water. So you see we had the cauliflower that was really cut large compared to the potatoes, and it's cooked, but the potatoes are still not cooked. So this is really something that comes from experience. When you cut your vegetables and you include a potato in that, you just really have to know from experience that how much time is it going to take for everything to cook together. Okay, so yes, it takes me a little more time to cook when I cook with water as opposed to oil, but I prefer this. Alrighty, our curry is coming together really nicely. Let me show you what it looks like. It's right here. There you go. You see, all of the moisture has evaporated and the oil is floating to the top. This is the time when we're actually going to add water. Okay, so now we've taken out all of the moisture and cooked out the raw smell of the onion, of the ginger and the garlic. And now we're going to go ahead and add hot boiling water to this to create the gravy that we want in the desired thickness. So this is just the base of it, right? Gonna go ahead and add this boiling water. Not too much, not too little. Just remember that the fritters themselves are also going to soak up a lot of the moisture. So just clean the sides of your pot, give it a good stir, and wait for it to. So I'm on sear mode. I still have about 9 minutes left on that. It's a 30-minute cycle. Okay. At this time, you're going to go ahead and check the salt. It's good. It's a little tart. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little more salt and a little more coriander seed powder, some paprika for that brilliant color. And that's about it. I can go ahead and add some cilantro. If you want to add any ginger juliennes or anything, or Indian curry powder, you can absolutely add that at this stage. We're going to make this nice and thick. And once that happens, we are literally going to take these out of the Ziploc bag and plop them right in there. And we'll pressure cook this for 2 minutes and they'll be done. Okay? So these are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fritters. Whenever you make pakoras, always make some extra so that you have things like this for the next day that you can do fun things with. Okay, so this is right over here. Let's take a quick look at this. If anybody has any questions related to Indian food in general or anything that I'm making, if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat below. I'm happy to answer all your questions. Okay. So this is actually sticking to the bottom while I was busy talking to you. But just scrape it up with a wooden spatula. It'll add more flavor to your food. Nothing to worry about. Not the end of the world. And you can see there's not that much oil in this, whereas if I cook this with oil, this whole thing would be just coated with oil. So the potatoes are pretty much done. One other way that you'll know the potatoes are done is that these sharp edges will actually dissipate, right? Once that happens, you know that your potatoes are soft. If they have sharp edges, you know that your potato is not done yet. Okay, so just give it a good scrape. Turn this off. And then last but not the least, add a ton of cilantro to this. This is done. Add some garam masala, just a pinch. And then you're going to cover this back up to cook in residual heat. It's already cooked. I can actually remove it from the skillet right now. I'm just going to bring my attention back to this. you can see this is really boiling to a nice luscious gravy. I don't know if you can see. Let me just flip the camera so y'all can get a better view. So see, this is actually just bubbling up to a nice luscious gravy. You can see all of the oil droplets coming to the top. That's when you know it's ready for the next step. Once that happens, you can check for seasoning. Once we add the fritters, we're not going to mess with this too much. Yep, it's looking good. We still have 6 minutes on this. So when we put the water in, it had 9 minutes on there. Now it has 6 minutes. So in 3 minutes, it's actually boiled everything together. The curry base is nice and homogeneous. The water and the tomato, ginger, garlic, everything has combined really nicely. Into this, we're going to add our fritters. Just take them and add them. You don't need to reheat them. They're fully cooked. Even if you have a bunch of them in your freezer, this makes a really quick, like a weeknight dinner. You can eat it with rotis. You can eat it with rice. I love everything with rice, but most people prefer to eat this dish with rotis. Again, it's a matter of personal preference. Add a little bit of cilantro. Add just a tiny bit of water just to kind of reactivate this thing. Turn this off. Put the lid on it, and then we're going to manual cook this for just 2 minutes of a pressure cook. 1, 2. Okay, so this is gonna go for 2 minutes. That's it. This is done. That is done. And now I do not have to babysit my food. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much how we do it around here. I try to use as many appliances that I can, that I have, so that they'll increase my efficiency in the kitchen. Also, I don't like to scrub and clean my stovetop every day. So I try not to cook on the stove every day. Phew, it was bright over there. My eyes are taking a minute to adjust. Let me also show you the other thing that I made, which I was telling you about, the doodh semia, which is the vermicelli in the milk. Let me show you what that looks like. 1 second. There you go. This is just good old whole milk that has been boiled with a little sugar and cardamom. And then I've added the vermicelli and I boiled it further. And I added some almonds. This is almonds. I did almonds. You can add any nuts of your choice, pistachios, almonds, whatever you got going on. There you go. I'm just going to reheat it before serving. You can see all the cream at the edges. So just scrape off that cream. That's the good stuff. All right. So that brings us to the end of today's session. If you enjoyed what you saw, definitely consider following my page. Check out the website. There is a free chana masala download on our website, queenscurrykitchen.com. So if you want to make the easiest chana masala recipe, which is our chickpea curry, but you don't want to buy a million ingredients or sit through slaving over a hot stove, then definitely consider downloading that recipe. It's a free download from my website, queenscurrykitchen.com. It might be the very first step that you take towards Indian food, and it might be the recipe that warms you up to the tastes of Indian dishes. Also, if you'd like to take a class with me, send me a DM. I'm always accessible through my DMs. You can definitely ask about classes. If you don't see the classes listed for your level, whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you can definitely request a specific recipe that you'd like to learn. All of the supply lists and the recipes go to your inbox way ahead of time. So when you actually take the class, you're ready with all of your supplies. You cook on that side of the screen, I cook on this side of the screen, and everybody goes home happy. Okay, so definitely check this out. Don't forget to check out our website, queenscurrykitchen.com. Whether you want to order a masala box, you want to order some biscuit cookies for your upcoming holidays, or as New Year presents, definitely consider that. If you want to take a class, I'm right there. If you want to download any ebooks for a Christmas present to yourself, definitely go do that. And if nothing, then definitely download the chana masala recipe. It's going to be the easiest, best tasting chana masala you have ever had. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back very soon with another video. Until then, be blissful and flavorful. Happy holidays to you and your family. Bye.